Tonight, the Liberals come out swinging at SA Best in the wake of the defection of Port Augusta's mayor. And the labour of love, how this unique piece of art was created in Port Lincoln.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. The state Liberals say they doubt SA Best will have strong regional policies in the wake of Port Augusta Mayor Sam Johnson's allegiance with Nick Xenophon's party. Southern Cross News has caught up with local Liberal members who've weighed in on the announcement.
Nick Xenophon's new lineup is threatening to shake up the two-party system in SA, yet the region's MP Dan Van Holst-Pellekaan is confident the Liberals' regional policies won't be shaken.
And we've got more policies than any other party.
Federal member for Grey, Rowan Ramsey, taking a swipe at SA Best.
Xenophon up to now has no rural policies. In fact, he has very few policies in any area, and the party that he has elected to lead, the Liberal Party, has put down a whole raft of rural policies. Port
Augusta's Mayor Sam Johnson has been announced as an upper house candidate for SA Best, defecting from his alignment with the Liberals.
That's his choice. I've always had a very good working relationship with Sam as Mayor, and I have no doubt that that will continue.
Apparently he thinks he can write a Xenophon party policy in the next little while, because he said yesterday that he was pretty much going to write it.
Yet the Libs on state and federal sides agree on one thing.
I strongly believe we need a change of government in South Australia. I think that this is the most important issue at the moment, and I don't think there's any real true prospect of a SA Best government being formed after the next election.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
And as the region digests Sam Johnson's defection, attention now turns to Nick Xenophon's plans for regional lower house seats. With just 64 days until we go to the polls, he's still to select some candidates, despite previously making a big pitch to the region. John Hunt explains.
Early last year, Nick Xenophon announced he would run candidates in the seats of Giles and Frome at the March state election. He said the regions needed a change from the Labor-Liberal duopoly and a fresh alternative from the political centre. Since that date, he's expanded to target 20 different lower house seats across the state, in both Labor and Liberal electorates. He's also making a big push in the state's upper house, where minor parties have traditionally done well. In September, Mr Xenophon confirmed he had his eyes set on the 2 regional seats.
We're in it to win it, and obviously Giles and Frome are 2 seats we'd be very interested in.
But there's still yet to be candidates announced for Giles and Frome. But Mr Xenophon says we won't have to wait too much longer, confirming we're just weeks away from an announcement.
We will be making announcements within the fortnight. I want to give South Australians in the regions a genuine choice between the 2 major parties.
Southern Cross News has been told by multiple sources that the former senator had been struggling to snag a candidate. But he says the delay is more to do with the size of his operation, and the voters will have plenty of time to judge SA Best.
That will still give South Australians, people in those electorates, a 7 to 8 week period to get to know the candidates.
A 5.7% swing is needed to take Giles from the ALP, while a 10.5% swing is needed to unseat Jeff Brock and Frome. Traditionally, these figures would be considered daunting, but with the entrance of SA Best, any result is possible.
John Hunt reporting there. Golden North's Laura factory in the mid-north is said to be scrutinised after a national recall was issued for some of its ice cream products. SA Health says it comes after a complaint about metal fragments found by a consumer. The recall affects some Golden North branded ice creams, as well as others it manufactures under different brands, including the Foodland, Country Style, Black and Gold and Simple labels. The full list of products can be found on our Facebook page. Police are on the hunt for an arsonist after a massive blaze broke out in Broken Hill this morning. The fire ripped through scrubland on Micah Street at around 4:30, leaving onlookers stunned. One firefighter was taken to hospital with suspected heat exhaustion, with 2 local brigades called in to control the fire. The blaze caused little damage, but crews will continue to monitor homes and the city's water filtration plant near the fireground. Anyone with information is urged to come forward. The state government has announced a $17 million investment in rural road safety. A significant section of that money is set to be injected into the state's mid-north.
They link the towns of the mid-north together and are often the concern of many motorists. But now rural roads across the region with high crash rates are in for a multi-million-dollar upgrade.
Allocated $17 million for regional South Australia, and I'm pleased that there's been able to secure in my electorate of Frome just over $4 million of that 17.
The state government has committed to funding shoulder sealing for many roads in the mid-north.
Getting a lot of my roads shoulder sealed, and that means widening the roads.
R.M. Williams Way in Spalding is set to be widened, allowing larger vehicles to pass without forcing other vehicles off the road.
The $310,000 there is going to be for shoulder sealing on those roads there, and there's one section there that has been really, really bad.
$65,000 worth of safety barriers will also be installed along the barrier highway.
Then if you go off the road, it'll stop you from going right off the road there.
Reduced visibility at the notorious black spot along Horrocks Highway has influenced the state government's decision to install radar-activated signs. The new signs will illuminate to indicate oncoming traffic.
They'll activate these warning advisors so that the people on the highway will be alerted that there is a car, something coming on the Stradbroke Road.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Still to come on Southern Cross News, the lineup for Port Augusta's Desert Fringe announced. Details next. The plan to create a series of mineral and art intersections around Broken Hill has been tabled indefinitely. Council says its priorities lie elsewhere, leaving the parklets quite literally parked.
2 years ago, BHP donated more than $5 million to Broken Hill to create a living museum across town. Over $2 million of that was allocated to build mineral and art displays at significant intersections around the Silver City. Flash forward to 2018 and that plan has been halted.
What we've done is that we still want to work on the parklets concept, and so we've said, let's park that.
The Mayor says the funding was for a 5-year project, with focus now on Council's Outback Archives. That includes the development of the administration building and the digitisation of the city's archives.
Once that project starts, then we can actually consolidate what will happen in Argent Street. Is the parklets the best option? And if they're not, then the council will have to decide on what to do next.
Council says the parklets project will be reviewed at a later date, but one councillor has his concerns.
If you say at a later date, that means nothing. As a council, you always should put a date on it. Now, whether it's 3 months, 6 months or 12 months, you should always put a date.
He says he'll be chasing up how much has already been spent on the shelved project.
I will be finding out at the next council meeting exactly how much money has been spent to date on paying consultants to get us to the point we are at now, which is nothing.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
Mining company CBH Resources has been busy stabilising one of Broken Hill's historic mining headframes. It's over 100 years old and was last operational in the 1960s. CBH has been replacing steel braces and tie rods, as well as conducting concrete foundation repair at the site next to the South Bypass. The mayors of Whyalla and Port Augusta believe the two cities can work together to become a national renewable energy hub. They've received cautious backing from the Whyalla Chamber of Commerce, who says a skills shortage must be addressed first.
It might not look like it judging by today's weather, but sunny skies could be ahead for Whyalla and Port Augusta. The two mayors are working on positioning the region as a renewable energy hotspot.
There is power available and hopefully cheaper power available, that it's on tap and that it's reliable.
And we've got in excess of about $4 to $4.5 billion of capital expenditure on renewable-based projects that's about to unfold.
Port Augusta's solar thermal project has received approval, while SSC, Adani and GFG Alliance are all moving forward with plans in Whyalla. Whyalla Chamber of Commerce says the industry can help create jobs and help reduce crippling power bills for struggling businesses.
Moving down the path of renewable energy, creating that hub and creating a much lesser cost in terms of our electrical energy.
He's warned more skills training is needed, though, to help make this dream reality.
We have had, an exodus of some of our skill base, and we need to be looking to retain that.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
The Desert Fringe is set to return to Port Augusta for its 11th year. Organisers say there'll be a lineup of national and international performers over the weekend, as well as opportunities for some local talent.
Bringing a taste of Adelaide's Mad March to the Upper Spencer Gulf.
Desert Fringe is all about experiencing the unexpected. So you can see everything from circus, music, comedy and everything in between.
In just under 2 months, the barracks at the Port Augusta Cultural Centre will be transformed into an experience for everyone.
Well, we're bringing stages, we're bringing lights, we're bringing festoons, we're bringing artists, we're bringing the whole kit and caboodle, but it will absolutely transform.
Organisers have announced the lineup for the festival, which will include local talents, the Desert Voices Choir and the Dusty Feet Mob Dancers.
It's a really great lineup of artists coming up from Adelaide Fringe to give you a little taste of what Adelaide Fringe experiences every year.
Not forgetting those from overseas.
And then we've got some internationals, so the Chipolatas are going to close the show with their one-of-a-kind kind of circus fireworks spectacular.
The event will be held over 2 days in March. Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
After the break, how this unique sculpture was created by a local Port Lincoln artist. That story next. A Port Lincoln artist has spent 16 months sculpting a life-size horse from washed-up driftwood from nearby beaches. The horse is now set to carry out public duties, including parading in the upcoming Tunarama Festival.
Sculpted from hundreds of pieces of washed-up timber, this life-size thoroughbred is a labour of love for artist Donna Felters.
Amazing. The whole thing is just, really blows you away. It's pretty spectacular to see a life-sized horse in driftwood.
Like a giant puzzle, it became a painstaking process of finding the perfect driftwood to match the horse's limbs.
Just everyone getting in together with the screwdrivers and picking up bits of wood, trying to place them, see where they're going to go, and just lots of laughs really.
Donna's work culminating after 16 months, finally giving her creation a name.
Her name is Driftwood Lass, affectionately stable nicknamed Drifty.
Although Driftwood Lass won't be entering races anytime soon, she'll still wow the crowds when she takes up official duties during local race meets and festivals.
This will be photographed particularly during the Tunarama parade to a very large extent.
Everyone's going to have a look at her and be in awe of what we've done.
Drifty won't be the first mighty mare to call Port Lincoln home. There's another popular diva in town and she might just be a few lengths in front.
Makybe Diva, 3 Melbourne Cups, that's hard to toss. But Drifty, let's see how she goes. Let's see her progress over the years and let's see the community embrace and love her.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Meantime, artists on the Lower Eyre Peninsula were celebrated during Port Lincoln's annual Art Prize last night. Local paintings and sculptures were on display to be judged by Country Arts SA. The winning piece by Beth Hammond is this spectacular self-portrait that was finished by using just her memory.
It's one of herself and then free drawing, or blindfolded, non-stop drawing on acrylic over the top of the painting.
All of the artwork on display is up for sale, some already fetching their creators thousands of dollars. Good on them. Time now for cricket tips.
Yeah, g'day and welcome back to Port Augusta Cricket. This week we see the commencement of our 2020 competition. We've got 3 matches in Quorn. So if anybody wants to go for a drive and have a look, go along, you'll see some, well, not so much some good bowling, but some very good hitting from the batters. The first match sees Westies take on Central Stirling. This should be a good match, but Central Stirling have been on fire all year, so I think Central Stirling will account for Westies in the first match. The second match sees Westies double up, and they take on South Augusta. But again, I can't see them beating South. The third match sees Central Stirling take on Quorn. Because it's been played in Quorn, I will lean towards Quorn to beat Central Stirling. So there we go, our 3 matches for this week.
Welcome to the Port Lincoln Cricket Tips. Season kicks off again after Christmas break, and the first game of the round sees Todd River and Waybacks battle it out at Dorwood. Todd River without a couple of players away on holidays, and Waybacks really looking for a win to get back in touch with the fore. Going to pick Todd River to win this game, just in what will be another good game at Dorwood Oval. Tasmans vs Charlton will battle it out at Ravendale this week. Tasmans beat Charlton last game. Charlton have got some players returning, and Tasmans really need to get this win as well to have any chance of finishing in the fore. Going to pick Tasmans to upset Charlton again. And in the final game sees Lincoln South and Southern Air at Centenary Oval. A little bit of weather around in this one. I reckon the team that win the toss will bowl here first. Going to tip Southern Air in this. Thanks for listening to the Port Lincoln Cricket Tips.
Broken Hill Cricket moves into 2020 mode this weekend after being abandoned due to the extreme heat last weekend. North take on South under lights at the Jubilee Oval tonight. That should be a good spectacle. North look to have their best side on the park tonight, and the Southerners will struggle to record their first win. In the other 2020 game tomorrow, top side Central take on second place West. This should be a very close encounter. A few of the Central players school teachers, so a few of them will be missing from the side this week. Gives West probably their best chance at causing an upset. But in a very close game, still will go for Centrals in what should be a great spectacle.
Stay with us. After the break, we'll have all the local weather details with Abby. And Abby, it was much cooler and wetter today.
Yes, it was, Fraser, but the good news is the cool relief is here to stay and most centres will sign up for your weekend plans. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. Well, today a cool change brought some showers and rain for all centres. It was still hot in Port Augusta though, 31 the top. It was rainy and 27 in Whyalla, and it was even cooler in Port Lincoln, but it was an absolute scorcher again in Broken Hill, 43 the top there. On the satellite now, and cloud over the west in a developing trough is generating a few showers and thunderstorms, while cloud streaming across the south of the state is bringing the odd light shower. On the waters for your Saturday, we'll see southerly winds shifting southwesterly up to 25 knots, so quite strong. Seas will reach 1.5 metres and the sun will pop up at 6:20 on the dot. To your Saturday weather now, and it's going to be a glorious day in Port Augusta, fine and 28 the top. Pleasant conditions in Whyalla, heading for a top of 25 degrees, but it will remain wet in the west. We'll see some strong winds in Port Lincoln, 23 the max. And finally, a much cooler day for Broken Hill, 29 the top, with some gorgeous sunshine. And temps will reach the mid to high 20s for all other centres. It's looking like that rain will clear for some lovely conditions on Sunday. Temps will start to warm up again to start the working week, 26 the top for Cleve, and that sunshine will continue into Tuesday as the mercury rises even more. Woodners heading for a very hot 37 degrees. A similar story further up the Gulf with the sunny conditions and pleasant temps to continue tomorrow and Sunday. 29 the top and sunny for Port Augusta. Again, the dial will start to rise on Monday as temps creep into the 30s in Kadina, and it's looking like a hot Tuesday for all districts. It'll be 32 in Whyalla and Port Augusta. Last but not least, there will be plenty of sunshine around on Saturday, but we may see a bit of cloud cover about on Monday as temps start to warm up. But the heat is certainly back on Tuesday. Port Pirie heading for a scorching 37 degrees. And Broken Hill's in for a refreshing break from the heat this weekend before the hot weather returns on Tuesday. So Fraser, enjoy the gorgeous weekend weather because the mercury is set to rise again next week.
Thanks, Abby, and that's all from us for now. Thanks for joining us. Hope you can join us again on Monday. Good night.